Good night, everybody. Good night, and welcome to Leadership Conversations with KeenVision Leadership. I am your host, Colin McDermott. I am happy to be here tonight. Great day. Another productive beginning to another productive day. It's the beginning of a new week, and so I'm excited about being able to start the new week strong, even though there's been a lot going on. A lot going on. I can really say there's a lot going on everywhere, and so it's great to be able to be alive. It's great to be able to share with everyone on here tonight. Truly appreciate having the opportunity to be able to speak with everyone about some leadership topics. It's important that we understand that as leaders, we have to be able to not only make good decisions, but make smart decisions that are going to help us in our own lives and help the lives of others. And it's always my desire that as we continue our conversations, we're having these leadership conversations for the mere fact that we need to be able to kind of understand what it really means to be a leader. Leadership is a lot less complicated than we make it to be. And one thing that I've come to realize is that leadership is important. It's important, and we are all leaders in our own right. I have a saying that I like to say that we need to lead life and not let life lead us. And so, appreciate taking the time out to be on this live with me. I know it's been a bit of a gloomy day. It's been raining pretty much the whole weekend, but it's about turning lemons into lemonade, and I'm excited to be able to have the time to talk with everyone tonight. Like I said, there's a lot going on. It seems like for the past couple of weeks, it's been nothing but bad news. A lot of things going on. Recently lost a family member. Then we had the passing of the artist DMX. Even today, seeing some of the news some of the stories on the news, and it's been a pretty rough couple of days, a pretty rough couple of weeks. But I think what this topic that I want to talk about as we continue our vision building series is completely relevant to all the things that are going on. It now more than ever is when we need leadership. Now more than ever is when we need to be able to be effective, be able to make good decisions, be able to to put positive energy into the world, to be voices of reason, to be voices of support and encouragement. We all need encouragement. One of the prime responsibilities of a leader is to be encouraging, to encourage those that are around them, even when things look bad, to help us make it through not only the good times but the hard times as well. So, like I said, want to continue our conversation. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. I want to continue the conversation about vision building. Now I know that tonight I want to use to be the conclusion for our vision building series. I'm going to continue talking about various leadership topics, but wanted to use today to be the conclusion of our vision building series. Please, before I even go into that, please feel free to like and share and comment. Your feedback is very much appreciated, is very much needed, and it's really helpful in helping me to formulate and shape these conversations. And so, I wanna take the time out to thank everybody. I want to take the time out to thank my wife, who's a huge support system, who's a huge encouragement, and I appreciate some of the things that she helps, how much she helps me, how much she's supportive of of the things that we're doing, the things that I'm doing with KeenVision Leadership. And I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but there's some things that I want to implement and want to I've been talking about it being coming down the pipe, and I'll talk about it a little bit more towards the end because I really want to get into this topic. But there are some things that I wanna be able to help others to grow in areas I want to help others to grow in, and I really am working on some plans and some programs and some initiatives to really help be effective. So that being said, let's continue our conversation about vision building. Just wanted to do a quick recap as this is, I think, the 7th or 8th week, which is it's crazy because sometimes you think that you're afraid to start things sometimes because you don't know how it's going to turn out, but you do it anyway, and it's all about getting started. One of the key things about leadership is getting started. And when you get started, you allow it to take a life of its own, and you allow it to grow organically and to develop. And I've been getting a lot of good feedback. So, wanted to do a quick recap. Our first vision building series, first episode or first talk conversation on vision building, where we were talked about bringing our dreams from just being dreams into the vision stage. We talked about the components of a vision, right? How it has to have purpose, how it has to have a why, it has to have you have to shape it to how you want it to look. So you have to have the why we're doing it. What's the purpose of what we're doing? Why? How does it look? Right? We have to have the why. We have to have how. We have to talk. We have to have all of these things that are necessary to help us to formulate and develop a positive vision, right? So we talked about that and how many of us, we have dreams, and it formulates our imagination, but we have to bring it from that dream state into the vision building stage, and how we have to have the components of vision, the purpose, the image, the value, the goals. All of these things are important when building vision. Then we talked about having good perspective, having the right perspective that goes along with your vision, that you're properly translating and properly understanding and interpreting the information that you're getting when it comes to vision, right? And then we talked about having wisdom, how wisdom is important in building vision. You need imagination, but you also need wisdom. When is the right time to make certain moves, to make certain decisions? When is the right time to do things? And then we talked about some of the vision challenges, right? Some of the challenges that come along with vision, being farsighted versus being nearsighted, and how we have to be able to have that really 2020 kind of vision where we can see both near and far. We can have both long-term goals and short-term goals. Those are important. And then we talked about becoming, how we have to become and we have to grow into the vision so that we can be the type of person that we desire to be in order to truly maintain vision. So, want to continue the conversation. And then last week we talked about choosing life, right? How we have to choose life in all that we're doing. Choosing life so that we can be able to, when we come against challenging situations, when we come against confusing times, we have to make a choice as to whether or not we're going to throw in the towel or we're going to continue. So, with all that being said, I want to continue the conversation. And as I said, I want to wrap up our conversation tonight with something that I think is very important as well as very relevant. I want to talk about the importance of having a strong support system. There's an African proverb that says that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. African proverb that states that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And one of the things that is important in terms of building anything, building any vision, building any organization, building anything that you're trying to do. Good evening, Sister Susan. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. Anything that you're trying to build, you need a strong support system. And it's even more key now, especially in the times that we're in, where so many things are happening, so many discouraging occurrences are happening, life changing moments, right? There's so many things that are going on, and the thing about life is that it has the keen ability to throw curveballs. Has the keen ability to throw curveballs your way that causes you to things not to go according to plan. And we all face those kind of situations. We all face those things where things start to go awry, things start to go astray, things start to get out of control. And if you don't have a strong support system, it will cause you to be tossed about with all that's happening. Life has a keen way, like I said, life has a way of really complicating things. You'll make a plan, and then something will come and throw the plan completely out the way. I was watching a show with my wife, The Flash, and one of the guys The Flash was working with, he told him that there are 4 steps to every plan. He said, formulate the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go wrong, throw the plan out the window. 4 steps that are important and necessary when you're making a plan. So I'm saying that life throws so many things at us. There's so many challenges, so many moving parts, so many obstacles that we face as individuals. And it's important that we have a strong support system that's going to keep us, that's going to help us to move forward, that's going to help us to stay grounded, that's going to help us to really be able to progress and not lose our way. There's so many people who try to do things try to be successful on their own, and you come to find out that it's impossible to be successful by yourself. One thing I've come to realize is that no matter where you are in life or what you're doing in life, right, you need a strong support system. And it's funny because society teaches us that we have to be self-sufficient, right? It teaches us that we have to go for what is ours. We got to do what we have to do so that we can be successful, especially in the corporate world. The corporate world is so cutthroat, and they will praise you one minute, and then the next minute they find a reason to get rid of you. And it's such a common thing in business. It's such a common thing in life, where people are very self-centered and very selfish, and they're only trying to do for them and only trying to get what is theirs without a support system. But if you really want to be successful, we have to have some kind of support system. If you want to build a vision and build a strong vision, build a successful vision, you have to have a support system. See, in order to be successful in anything in life, you have to not only have a successful purpose, a successful plan, but you need a strong support system, because there's nowhere in the world that you'll find a successful person, a successful organization, a successful movement, a successful vision of any sorts without a support system. See, even down to our biology, even down to the level of biology, even down to a level of psychology, physiology, we need the support of others. It's interesting that when you think about how much we neglect the importance of supporting one another, that we neglect the importance of being around others and having healthy relationships, right? One thing that I come to realize is that there's so much research and so many statistics out there. One thing that I found or discovered is that when you have positive relationships in your life, it allows you to be happier. It allows you to have fewer problems. It allows you to live longer. When you have a research shows that when you have good positive relationships and you have a strong support system, you have a better mental health, right? You have a sense of safety, you have a sense of security, you have a sense of belonging, you have people that you can confide in. It even helps to prevent neurodegenerative diseases. It protects the brain. You create happy memories. You create memories that are long lasting. It lowers your risk of dementia. So we all need somebody. We all need people. We all need support system. We all need a team that's going to cheer us on, that's going to root for us, that's going to build us up, that's going to encourage us, that's going to be on our side. Some of the most disgruntled people are those who are alone, right? We all know the old lady with the cats. Good evening, Prophetess Daima. Thanks for tuning in. We all know the saying of the old. Sorry about that. We all have the discussion about the old lady with cats who seems to for some reason be very miserable and be very what's that word, miserable and always running people and always scaring people, and they just seem alone and decrepit, and they don't want to be bothered with anybody. It's important that when you have a strong support system and you have people around you, it's truth of the matter is we're happier. We're happier when we have people that support us. We're happier when we have people that believe in us, that people that believe in our dreams, that believe in our vision, that are willing to help us build the vision, that are willing to help us to grow into the people that we desire to be, to grow into our vision. So we need people. We need support system. We need to be able to encourage one another, to help one another really be able to stand firm-footed. So support systems is important when we're building a vision. Anybody who thinks that they can build their vision or their dream by themselves, they have another thing coming to them. There's no one in the world who is able to be successful without having a proper support system. See, it's a support system that makes things successful. When you when you build a company or you build an organization or you start a movement, right? And you have a support system, it helps to reduce the stress. Many of us, we feel stressed out, especially when we feel like we're doing what we're doing alone. When we feel like what we're doing is there's no momentum, there's nothing happening, you feel stressed out. But when you have a support system, it reduces the amount of stress that you have to carry. It reduces the burden because you find that you have help. You find that you have people who are willing to believe in your dream. Have you ever had a moment where you shared an idea with someone, or you shared a thought, or you shared something passionately with somebody, and based on their response, it discourages you. It discourages you because you feel like it's not important to them or they don't care. But then on the flip side, when you share something with someone and they're excited and they're into it, they're just as into it as you are, and they care as much as you are, and they're bouncing ideas off of you, it gives you this energy and it gives you this passion, and it increases your passion, and it helps you to be motivated. And so it's important that if we want to go far, we have to go together. Support systems anchor you, right? We have to understand that when you have a strong support system, it'll anchor you. It'll keep you grounded. Even the times, because there are not 11 times out of 10. I was going to say 9 times out of 10, but that's a lie. 11 times out of 10, 15 times out of 10, you're going to experience a moment of discouragement, especially when you're trying to start something new, especially when you're trying to build something. It's whether it's you're building your ministry, or you're building your career, or you're building your business, or you're building your organization. It doesn't matter what you're trying to build. When you always will experience moments of discouragement. You'll always experience moments of disappointment. You'll always feel moments where you just don't know what to do, where it just feels like everything is topsy-turvy and you don't know your head from your foot. You don't know your hand from your nose. It's just all around pandemonium, craziness. It's chaos. There's so much going on. The walls are closing in. The room is spinning. All these things happening all at the same time. But when you have a strong support system, they keep you grounded. They keep you from jumping off the ledge. They keep you from making brash decisions based on how you feel. Because there are times, and this is important for us as leaders, that we understand that we always have to be in a position, more than anybody else, where we have to check our emotions. Because our emotions will lead us to make rash decisions. And we will make decisions that we end up regretting, but it felt like the right thing to do in the moment. But when you have a strong support system and you have confidants and people that you can trust and that you can depend on, and that'll let you know, hey, this is a good idea, or hey, this is a bad idea. When you have that, it keeps you anchored, right? It keeps you from jumping off the cliff. It keeps you from making that wrong decision, because you know you have people around you that are going to support you. You have people around you that are going to help you to continue. And even when you feel like throwing in the towel and you feel like giving up, you feel like quitting, it's like they give you a new life. They help to rejuvenate you. I can tell you countless amount of times where I felt like giving up, and I felt like, listen, I don't want to do this. Maybe I just need to go back to what I was doing before. Forget about trying to start a business. Forget about trying to start a movement. Forget about trying to do these things that I want to do. It's too hard. It's too complicated. It's not turning out the way I want it to. And there have been so many times where I said, man, maybe I just need to go back to a 9-to-5 job, because this entrepreneurial lifestyle is just not it. And you want to just give up. And then you turn around, and thank God I have my wife who is my anchor, and I have people around me that are anchor who will say to me, listen, I know you feel discouraged, but don't give up. Or she'll throw ideas at me. I have, shout out to my sister-in-law Letitia. It's like she just always knows when I'm feeling discouraged, and she'll randomly call me and say, hey, I was praying for you, and I know, and God wants you to know, don't feel discouraged, don't quit. He has a plan for you. He wants to bless you. You have God's favor, and that stuff helps to rejuvenate. Times when I'm feeling discouraged, and my wife will say, hey, the Lord was speaking to me about you concerning KeenVision. He was showing me all of these people that you're inspiring and influencing. And the bigger picture, always remind me of the bigger picture. And so when I get caught up in my feelings, when I get caught up in the moment of what's happening and what I'm not seeing and what I am seeing, I know that I always have someone that I can turn to that's going to keep me grounded. And that's what we need in life. And the thing is that we all are leaders in our own right. So don't think, that you're not a leader or that you're not capable of leading. We all lead because we lead ourselves. And so we all have dreams, we all have visions, we all have ideas that we want to build on. And we need a support system to keep us grounded. We need people around us that will believe in us. Even sometimes believe in it more than us. You know you're in good hands when you have someone that believes in your vision more than you. That that will help to throw out new ideas, that will help to throw out innovative ideas, or you'll give an idea or share an idea with them, and they'll maximize it to even greater potential, and they'll get your wheels turning. Like, oh man, I didn't ever think of that, right? So support system, they not only anchor you, but they help to give you a greater perspective. They help to give you new ideas, innovative ideas, a new way of looking at things, and they help to kind of help you to reevaluate certain situations. And so when you have a strong support system, you don't feel alone. I don't care what anyone says. You can be the roughest, toughest, baddest person in the world. Nobody likes to be alone. Nobody likes to feel like they're doing things on their own, that they're by themselves in the struggle. You look at the prison system, right? What's the form of punishment? They put you in solitary confinement. They put you by yourself. They separate you from interacting with others, and they put you by yourself. Right? For those of us that understand the spirit realm, right? There are so many of us who understand that when you feel like you get the most warfare, the most attack when you feel by yourself. I got you, Providence Dahima. Stay right there. I'm gonna answer your question in a second. I'm gonna answer your question, but when you have a strong support system, you don't feel alone. You don't feel by yourself. You don't feel like you're alone in the struggle. But when you have a strong support system, they give you the energy even when you don't have energy. Another thing that's important about having a strong support system is that when they help you on an emotional level, they help you on a mental level, they help you on a physical level, they help you on a spiritual level. They help to provide advice. Sometimes you come into up against a challenge and you need advice. When you have that support system, they give you great advice. They help to give you that perspective. They help to motivate you. You know, we're not always feeling motivated about the things that we're doing. It causes us to feel like there are times when we just feel like, hey, this is not it. And there are days where you just feel on fire and your passion is burning and you're running. But when you have a strong support system, for some reason, it's so weird, right? For some reason, when you have a strong support system and you have people on your team, it seems like the day that you feel the lowest is when they feel the highest. It's the day when you feel dry and you feel like giving up, that somebody on your team, somebody around you, somebody in your system is overly enthusiastic, and it's like they have more energy and more motivation than enough motivation for the both of you. And you need that in your life, because it becomes tiresome, it becomes wearing, it becomes hard a lot of the times to deal with the challenges of life, the challenges of building, right? The challenges of all of these things. It becomes a struggle. So I want to answer Prophetess Dahima's question. Thank you for asking. She says, how do you get a team of people to want to help and support your vision? That's such a key question, especially in this time, because of the fact that we are in an interesting time where everyone kind of is building their own thing, right? And it's very hard sometimes to get people on your team to support you. But a couple of things that we need to put into place when we're building a support system and we're building a team, right? The first thing that we have to do is we have to free ourselves of this mentality that people are going to steal or abuse us. A lot of us we've and especially in 2021, right? There's a mentality that I gotta get mine, I gotta get my own, I gotta do my own. And truth of the matter is, sometimes you trust people, sometimes you recruit people, sometimes you put people in your circle, and more often than not, sometimes you feel like they take advantage. They take advantage of you, or they steal your ideas, right? I can tell you there's countless conversations that I've had where you share an idea with someone, and then all of a sudden you see them executing the same idea that you shared with them. We have to be a little more trusting, because not everyone is trying to steal from us. Not everyone is trying to take advantage of us. There are genuine people that really believe in what we're trying to do. There are genuine people that really believe and support our vision. And there are generally people who God has assigned to help us to build that vision. So that's the first thing, that we have to free ourselves of that I'm gonna, for lack of better words, I'm gonna call it victim mentality, where you feel like people are taking advantage of you. It's a real thing, but one of the things that I've come to learn and understand is that when you add value to others, regardless of what they do, you still have to continue to be who you are. You still have to continue to do what you're doing, and continue to work towards towards your goals. And if you don't want to get on board, or you're only along for the ride, then power to you. I will say though, is that we have to be watchful and discerning of people's character, because people will show you in ways, in micro ways, where their heart really is. And the stronger the relationships, and that's why it's important that you build relationships, because the stronger the relationships that you build with a person, the more you get to know them, and the more you get to know where their heart is and where their minds are, and then you know how much you can trust them. And so once we break away and we open up ourselves, because too many of us were guarded. So that's why I said we got to break away from that mentality that people are going to abuse us. When you separate that and you open up yourself a little bit, then you start to build relationships with people. And relationships take time. They take time to build. So it's not going to be something quick, but it takes time. And as you build relationships and you understand people's hearts and where people are, then you know how much you can trust them. And then you can start delegating, or you can start delegating roles and start allowing them to be that support system. So those are the first two things that I would say the answer to your question, Prophet, is. Another thing is that, to that question, is that we need to look for our weaknesses. Look for people that are strong in the areas that we are weakest. See, when you and another person are doing the same thing, then it easily can become competition between you and the individual. But when you have someone that is strong in a certain area that you're weak in, there's no competition, because you have your ability, I have my ability, we're working together and we're supporting one another. And we're doing this thing together. So you're in your lane, I'm in my lane. There's no reason for any of us to cross paths. So we need to find people that can help us with our weaknesses. And that's where the anchor comes in as well, because there are times where you feel strong and you can lead the way. And there are certain areas that you're weak in that will magnify your weaknesses and help you feel, and magnify your discouragement and your disappointment. And then you need someone who's good at that weak area to kind of pull you along and strengthen you. So it's important that we not look for people that do the same things that we do, but do something different, but have the same idea in mind. One thing that I love about my wife is that my wife and I, we have similar skill sets, but both of us are building two different things, right? She's building her business, I'm building my business. We support one another, we complement one another, and we help push one another along. We're not competing, we're not trying to do the same thing. We're partnering together, and we're working towards accomplishing an ultimate goal. And so that's another thing that's important. Another thing that we need that's important in terms of support system is that we need 3 different levels of support. And my wife says, what about partnerships? Is that helpful to building relationships? Absolutely. Partnerships, I'm going to touch on that in a second. Let me hit this next point, and I'll touch on that as well. We need 3 levels of support. 3 levels of support in our lives. The The first level of support that we need is mentorship. We need teachers. We need people that are going that have arrived at where we're trying to go, that can help guide us to where they're at. So any area any industry that you're in, any field that you're in, there's someone who has succeeded in what you're trying to accomplish. And so the first level we need is to find those mentors and find people who are at the level that we're trying to get to, that can show us what things to avoid and what things to take in, what opportunities to take. And so one of the prime things that I find that's great is that with social media and things like YouTube, is that you can find mentors without actually interacting with them. Right? You can find people on YouTube, you can find people on social media that can be models for you. Many times during my conversations, during these lives, I will share things that I've learned from John Maxwell, things that I've learned from Steve Harvey, things that I've learned from Bishop T.D. Jakes, things that I've learned from different people that I look up to as models. They may not necessarily be direct mentors to me, but they're indirect models to me. And so we need mentors, we need models, we need teachers that we can learn from, that are at that level that we're trying to get to, so that we can know what things to avoid and what things to do. So that's the first level of support that we need. The second level of support that we need are peers. So people that are on the same level as us. People that are building, that are grinding, that are trying to build their businesses, their organizations, just like we are. Those are the people that understand where you're at, and in the moment can be able to encourage one another and support one another, and share new things, right? Being able to say, hey, I read this article, or hey, I found this resource, or hey, I found this that I used, or that I'm trying to use, and we can try to use it together, right? We all know Clubhouse. Clubhouse, you have to get invited, and usually it's like someone who is a peer who invites you to say, hey, there are some interesting people here on Clubhouse, join me, right? When Clubhouse first dropped, it wasn't until maybe 8 months after it had launched that it started to build momentum, because people started recognizing it as a tool. And so it took someone saying, hey, I know that you're doing this, here, jump on this, maybe it can help. So you need peers that understand the struggle that you're in, that can support you as well. And then you need people that are mentees, people that you're leading, right? People that are looking up to you, because you feel a greater responsibility when you have people that look up to you, that depend on you, that will ask you challenging questions, that need your support, right? A lot of times you feel the strongest we feel our strongest and we feel our greatest when someone is asking us for help. Right? You ever have a time where you're going through something and you just feel down and out, but someone you know will ask questions or reach out to you to help and it gives you energy to help them because you feel like you have to be strong for that person? That's important. Because it's those kind of situations and those kind of matters that help put things into perspective. That even though what I'm going through is bad and is challenging, but I have to be strong and I have to help. I have to add value to those that are looking up to me. So we need those three levels of support. That mentorship, that model, those peers that are building with you, as well as the mentees. Thank you, Prophet Dahima, for listing it for me. So you need all of these things. And to Asha's question about partnership, that's where the peers come in. You partner with your peers and support one another. Every successful company, Apple, Microsoft, and it's so funny because speaking of Apple and Microsoft, I was watching an interview with Bill Gates, and he was talking about how he had such positive relationships with Steve Jobs. And we know the competition between Apple and Microsoft and how that whole thing is. But in their building process, right, while they were building both companies, they were good friends. I mean, they still were good friends even until Steve Jobs passed away. But they didn't compete with one another, even though the world made it a competition between the two of them. When they were building, they were at the same conferences. They were speaking at the same conferences. They were at the same meetings. They were working together, even though they were doing separate projects. And so it's funny to think about that, because we always think of them as competition, right? Windows or Apple, right? We always think of them as competition, but when you look at them within themselves, they saw each other as peers, and they had positive relationships. Every successful organization develops positive partnerships. When you have great partnerships with other people and other organizations, and you show mutual support, it causes growth to be exponential. And so partnerships are important. When you partner with your peers and you help to support one another, then you're able to really catapult and get to a greater level that you wouldn't have been able to get to by yourself. So it's important that we understand that we need these things, that when we're building, when we're working, when we have that support, you're able to get so much more accomplished, you get so much more things done when you have the support of others. And especially in a time like this, where it just seems like it's bad news everywhere you turn. You go on social media and it's like one bad news after the other. I've gotten to a point where I'm nervous when I see someone post a picture on social media, because I'm just looking to see the RIP, the rest in peace, and that's how bad it's become. I have friends that'll post pictures for their birthday, to celebrate the birthday of someone important in their lives, and I get nervous because I'm like, oh my God, did somebody else just pass? Did someone else just die? So we're in a time where bad news is so evident. It's become such a prevalent thing, and so we need that strong support system. We need to be able to have those individuals around us that's going to help us to really get through the hard times and celebrate with us in the good times. Because nobody wants to celebrate success by themselves. Nobody wants to enjoy success by themselves. You see so many people, so many great people who have a team. One of the people that I admire so much is Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart, with all of his success, he always talks about his friends. He always talks about his boys that support him, and he in turn supports them. We talk about LeBron James and the fact that he has become such a successful athlete. And the reason he's become so successful as an athlete and as a business person is because when he first came to the NBA, he didn't hire an agent. He didn't hire a marketing firm. He hired his friends. And his friends, he put his friends on and gave his friends an opportunity, and they supported him throughout his entire career, to the point that they're able to build so many joint ventures, to the point that he's on track to becoming the first athlete billionaire that's actively playing. He has his movie production company. He has his sports agency. All of these things were started with him giving his friends an opportunity, giving his support system an opportunity. So the thing is that when we win and when we're successful, you want to be able to enjoy that success with somebody. You want to be able to acknowledge those that are with you, that have supported you from the beginning, right? We hear all the time, this is my day one. These are the ones who are with me in the trenches, those who are with me in the struggle. When you have a strong support system, the stronger your support system, the stronger your vision will be. We have to understand that the stronger your support system, the stronger your vision will be. And so it's important. It's important that we understand these things, because every successful person, every successful organization starts off with a strong support system. You can look at the history of Apple. You can look at the history of Windows. You can look at the history of any sports organization. You can look at the history of the civil rights movement, right? Civil rights movement was successful not because of one person, but because of a strong support system that came together. That when Rosa Parks was arrested for not giving up her seat, the whole of the community came together to support her, and that's where the bus boycott started. They decided to carpool and drive one another to work so that they wouldn't take public transportation to affect the economy of the bus system. So every successful movement, you look at the ministry of Christ. One of the first things that he started, before he started doing miracles and started healing and started preaching and doing all of these things, he built a team. He built a support system to the point that you had people, the one person who cut off the air when he was being arrested, right? He had a strong support system that was able to support him and keep him going even in the times where he faced challenges in his ministry. So anywhere you look, everywhere you turn, any successful individual that you see is because of a strong support system that they have. And so it's important that as we build our visions, as we build our organizations, as we work towards building our dreams, there is a support system out there. There are people that are going to believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. Because especially when you're doing something new and something different, something that's out of the box, something that is not popular, it is that support system that keeps you motivated. It's that support system that keeps you driving, that keeps you driven, that keeps you hungry, that keeps you moving forward. Because you know that you have that support that's not going to let you fall. I was listening to someone who was giving a speech, talking at a lecture, and he said any successful acrobat, right, or a tightrope walker, they never do any death-defying acts without having a net. See, the thing is that when we have a strong support system, you have that safety net. You have that security around you. You have those who are going to fight for you. You have those that are going to defend you. You got those that are going to push you. And support comes in so many different forms. And it's about recognizing how people support. A lot of times, and I want us to understand this is a key point. A lot of times we miss having the right people on our support system because we're looking for them to support us the way we wanted to be supported versus how they support. So there are people who are just fighters, right? Who will go to war with you, who will go to war for you, but you want them to be someone who's going to give you encouraging words. Maybe that's not what they do. Maybe they're not skilled in sharing and giving you encouraging words. But let someone talk out of the side of their mouth. They're the first ones to jump in and get crazy. One thing that I have, especially my family, I have some relatives that they will the minute you call them, they will be on it. They let someone talk slide to you, let someone step out of pocket, get out of character with you, and you call them and they be on it. They don't ask no questions. They shoot first, they fight first, they ask questions last. Sometimes you have those people. Sometimes you need those people. But if you're looking for them to be an encourager when they're a fighter, then you're going to lose that support system. So it's important that and it comes with building relationships. When you build relationships and you know how people operate and know what people's strengths are, when they support you the way that they know how to support you, you will appreciate it. And so we all have a support system. We all have people that believe in us, that want to see us successful, that want to see us accomplish our dreams, and want to work with us. and we have to be able to let them in. We have to be able to have that willingness to trust and to believe and to support as well. It's very easy when you're trying to build your own thing that you miss out on supporting others. And the important things about being a leader is that we have to always find ways to add value to others. So no matter how inundated you may feel, no matter how busy you may seem, no matter how overwhelmed you may feel, always try to find a way to add value to others. Because when you add value to others, they will support you. They will have your back. They will be on your team. They will always be on your side. They will be your defense. Right? Look at Instagram. One thing that I do is when I'll go on Instagram and I'll look at comments when people post. Right? People will post something and I'll go and read the comments, and you know who's a supporter and you know who's a hater because of the comments. And a lot of times you'll see like 30,000 comments, and it's never from the person who originated the post. The person will originate something, and then it'll start a whole argument on social media. And so now you have 20,000 comments of people who are defending you versus people who are against you. People who are supporting you, and it's a back and forth. And the person who makes the original post, you don't see not one comment from them. You don't see them say anything, but it's all the people that support them going against the people that don't support them. All of these things strengthen us. All of these things anchor us. You know, it's not a coincidence that they say there's strength in numbers. Because when you have the numbers, you have the strength, it builds you and encourages you. That's why it's important to build networks. It's important to build connections. You know, and those things are not easy because you have some weirdos out there. You have those people who are selfish, who are self-seeking, who are leeches. But truth of the matter is, they're so far and few in between. But a lot of times we see that's the only thing that we see. But networks are important. Building the right networks, building the right relationships, supporting others. All these things are important when you're trying to build your vision because it comes back to you. When you add value to others, it multiplies, it comes back to you. Because people will say, I remember when this person did this for me and I got their back no matter what. I'm their ride or die, no matter what. And so I wanted to share that as a key important thing that we must have in building our vision. We want to build great visions. We want to build great dreams, right? We want to become great people. We want to establish legacy. We want to overcome challenges. We want to climb to the top of the mountain. We want to be great, and we want to do great things. And all of those things are important. But what makes it most important, what makes it more effective, is when you have people that are around you that are going to support you, that is going to be your anchor, is going to be your strength, that's going to be your backative. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We are not created to do things by ourselves. But when you find the right people to help you build, then I promise you that any dream, any obstacle, any challenge that you may face, there's nothing that will be able to stop you when you have the right support system. And so I hope that it was encouraging to you. We are in such difficult times and such challenging times, and now more than ever we need leadership. Now more than ever we need positivity. Now more than ever we need encouragement. Now more than ever we need to add value. Because there's so many things out there that are discouraging, that are disappointing, that are demeaning, that causes your heart to be broken. And we as leaders have to step up and make a difference. And so I hope that it was encouraging. I wanted to wrap our series with that because I feel like that's such a key and important thing that we need to understand as leaders. and understand as individuals, because anything you want to do in life, anywhere you want to go in life, you need a support system that's going to help you. So I hope you were able to get something from it. Look out, because I'm looking to launch. I want to have a vision building workshop. So look out, keep an eye out for more information on that. I'm hoping to get it kicked off maybe within a month or so. Another thing is, after this, I want to start covering some topics about to help Christian leaders and Christian influencers. My heart and soul, my core. I'm a Christian leader, and I'm a Christian. That's something that I've seen and something that I've known all my life, and I think more than ever we need stronger leadership when it comes to Christian influencing and Christian leadership. And so after this, I'm going to be start some leadership conversations and discussions to really help Christian leaders and ministry leaders and all kinds of leaders that are trying to do something. So please let someone know. Tell them to tune in next week. I'm going to start it next week. Tell them to tune in. Anybody that you know that's a Christian leader, that's a Christian influencer, that wants to do, that's doing ministry work, I want you to tell them to join us next week, because I want to get it kicked off, because I've seen too many times and for too long people have been more focused on building their gift and building their following, that they're not as effective as leaders. And one of the things that we can't depend on is depend solely on our talent and our gifts and abilities. But leadership is a whole nother ball game. It's a whole nother thing. And so I want to be able to help some Christian influencers and some Christian leaders to really anchor down and get a better understanding of how to operate as a leader. Because Christian leadership spans not just only to churches and ministry, but to the world. And there's such a disconnect when it comes to the Christian world. There's such a disconnect when it comes to the Christian world and the secular world. And there's such a disconnect. The church, we've mastered the separation between church and state. We've mastered that. And so we're not as effective in really influencing the world, because we're trying to do so many other things. And so starting next week, I want to start hitting some topics as it pertains to Christian leadership and Christian influencing. So I admonish you, I encourage you, please invite someone to join next week. And I really want to get the ball rolling. Another thing is that this summer I'm planning to launch a leadership course, leadership training for young teenagers between the ages of 16 and 19. I'm planning to start it off in the summer. So if you know anyone who has teens who wants to learn more about leadership, and I'm making it a bit of a hybrid program, in that it's going to involve getting the fundamentals of leadership down, as well as understanding how to build towards their career, build towards their college career. That 16 to 19, 16 to 20 age groups, 16 to 21 age group is a key time. And I was really praying and thinking about it, and just remembering how at that age I didn't have anyone to teach me about leadership. I didn't have anyone to really help me to understand why college is important, and what to look for in colleges, and what to look for in building my career, what classes to take, what majors to take. And it wasn't until maybe I was about 20 and I attended a leadership conference that it really got me excited and got me jolted. But by that time, I was already in my junior year of college. And so I'm planning to start a program in the summer. I want to do a 6-week program for teens in that age group that are interested in learning about leadership, but also in building towards their college career. Because having worked in the college system for as an advisor for over 8 years, there are a lot of things that students have missed out on, opportunities that they have missed out on because there wasn't anyone to really give them that information. So I really want to dive into that. I really want to dive into the fundamentals of why leadership is important, why it's important to learn about leadership at that young age, and why it's important to start thinking about your college career and thinking about your overall career goals. So career exploration, building your resume, getting involved in college opportunities, choosing the right college. There's so many colleges out there, and you have the option of being in person and online now. And there's so much nuances that go along with that. And I can tell you the amount of students that I've advised, and I've had to have a conversation with them because they come in, they have no idea what they want to do or where they want to do, and they go through the motions. They take all these classes just to find that they change their major by their junior year, and end up having to end up losing all those credits. I remember I had a student who completed the program that she was in all the way up to her senior year. She got to her last semester of senior year, and she was a 3.8, 3.9 GPA. And she got to that point. She was doing the occupational therapy program, and she got to the end of it. She did an internship over winter break and decided that's not what she wants to do with her life. She wanted to be a math teacher. And so now she had 4 years of classes that she took that ended up going to waste because she wanted to be a math teacher. So all these things I want to hit, because one thing that I've realized is that when you get into college, you have to already know what you need. You have to already know what major you want. You have to already know, because the programs now are expecting you to know before you even get there, to know from your high school, the end of high school, before you finish high school, what you want to do with your life. So, like I said, I want to build on that, even for those that are already in college that need to know the importance of internships, the importance of doing community service or volunteer opportunities. So I'm building a whole program that addresses all of that while driving the fundamentals of leadership with that. So look forward. I'm excited to some of the things that are coming down the pipe. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to it. As always, feel free to go to my website, teespring.com, and get your Change the Game and Visionary t-shirt. Get your hoodie. We're now in that spring season where you don't want to wear a jacket. You don't want to wear that thick winter coat. You want to just throw on a hoodie. So feel free to log on and purchase yours today. It's super comfortable. It fits well and it looks good. So feel free to get that. Also check out my website, KeenVisionLeadership.com, and start an inquiry. Let's talk about some of your leadership goals, some of the things that you want to do, and we can start building out a game plan. You know, this is the year for changing the game. And so when you want to change the game, you want to build a game plan. So all these things are in the works. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you joining the conversation. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your support. It means the world to me. So I pray that you have a blessed week. I pray that this week will be a week that is going to be a week that's going to add value to you as well as add value to others. I pray that this will be a week where God will bless you and make you a blessing. I pray that this week will be a week of productivity. Let's work towards our dreams. Let's build our vision. Let's build our support system and help one another get to the ultimate goal of success. I believe in your greatness, and so I'm one of those that believe in you just as more than you believe in yourself. And so I'm encouraging you, let this week be a week of productivity. Let this week be a week of building your dreams. Take one step closer to your dream. One step closer to building your vision, and it will make a world of a difference. I guarantee if you do that, and then in five years from now, you'll be so much further than you were today. So thank you for tuning in. I pray that you all have a good night. Thank you again, and God bless.